I think I would just be one very small advice and say like learn how to play the piano. That would be actually really good. And I think any other advice would not really make sense because I wouldn't listen anyway. So my business card says Tobias Killmann, Risk Manager, ICAP and Risk Steering, Erste Bank AG. The coolest part of my job is maybe that risk at the moment is such a dynamic environment, because after the financial crisis actually a lot of new regulations came and people said, yeah, we don't want banks to fail anymore. So they put a lot of restrictions on banks and in specific risk. And I think it's really exciting right now that I'm in a field in a bank that's evolving every day, every month, and that's just so much fun because I have so much freedom to actually put my ideas to work and actually work with smart people on subjects that are completely new in some sense. So I think it's a perfect way to show some creativity and to really change the bank. Sometimes this dynamic environment that we're in is there, so there are a lot of regulations floating around, and which sometimes makes it a bit difficult to operate in this environment and to really bring your ideas forward, because there are some restrictions and that you need to know and that you need to encompass, and so that would be a drawback, I think. Erste Group is a group of banks in the CEE region, and we are focusing on the retail and corporate business. What my job is about is called Enterprise Risk Management, or ICAP, which is basically we are in the risk area where all the different models flow together in, let's say, a hub. And what we are doing is like we assess those risks in a combined way, and we try to see if we have enough buffer of capital to survive even very severe crisis situations. What I do is I focus on the risk analytics part of our team, which is that I aggregate a lot of information of different risk units and try to build a risk profile of our group, which is then presented to our senior management. And we try to keep them focused on what we think is important or what might become important from a risk perspective in the future. And another thing that I'm working on is called stress testing. It's a particularly interesting subject where we actually look at different stress scenarios, like what happens if the Greek government decides to exit the euro, to our balance sheet or to our P&L, and we try to make simulations of what different scenarios or how they could impact our bank. There's no typical day, I would say. There's like 1 week is more focused on being on telcos and calling people and gathering data, and another week could be that I'm really focused on one task and really try to analyze a very specific subject. Before I joined Erste Group in 2013, I did my bachelor's degrees in Vienna in economics. In parallel to that, I did orienteering or running as a competitive sport, and which also brought me then together with my studies to Sweden, where I did a master's degrees in economics and econometrics. After that, I directly joined Erste Group through the Group Graduate Program, which is a program that gives a bunch of young graduates the chance to get into banking, or you get the chance to learn how Erste Group thinks banking should be done. So we have a lot of different courses from accounting to risk management and corporate finance and so on. And and that's where I joined, and I'm in Erste Group since 2013 as a risk manager in ICAP and risk steering. I think the educational background that I have is pretty good for the job I'm doing now, But if you just take a look at my team, the educational background doesn't need to be economics. So we have people from finance, we have people from mathematics. I think we have even someone who studied physics. So I don't think it's really necessary to have that specific background, but it definitely helps. Yeah. Concerning soft skills, I would say, yeah, I think it's really important in every job that you do, because we are talking to people all day. We are on telcos. We are calling up people, and we are interacting with people. And I think that's like, if you want to progress and if you want to develop and also develop your team that you're working with, then it's really important that you see the needs of other people and that you engage into those needs. Yeah.